What's up, everybody? For those of you who do not know my face, which is this, I am Adam S., NSFL GM of the Austin Copperheads, sometimes league dad, pet owner, father, husband, sex maniac, whatever you want. How you guys doing today? I know you can't answer. I just realized that after I asked. But I guess that's what people do anyway. How you doing today? That's nice. Good. I'm glad you're doing okay. Except Jiggly. It'll keep getting better, buddy. It's been a while since I did one of these. In fact, I think I've only done one in the last 3 months. So I figured it was a good time. The girls are out of the house. For those of you who don't know all about my family, which is my number one priority, I'm married. I have a 5-year-old daughter. They are my whole life. And so them being out of the house is not normal at the moment, but it happened today. And yes, I ramble a lot. I fucking ramble a lot. If you've ever seen me type and it feels like I ramble thoughts, that's how I fucking really think. So, new season. Lots of stuff going on. Me adjusting this camera, because I have a tendency to look down at where the video is recording instead of up here where the light is. I'm terrible about it. You can actually go see videos where I am 90% like staring at myself because I look horrible, or making sure you can see things. In fact, let's deal with this. Yes, I got hit at work. My nose looks like shit. It happens. So I'll take a moment to get used to it. Maybe the podcast would be better like this. Just like I'm an anonymous nose podcast. We'll try it sideways. Anyway, I'm not going to turn this into a weeb podcast that's barely about the NSFL. Shots fired. And got all my stuff plugged in, unlike my co-GM, so this thing will go start to finish without any loud interruptions for commercial breaks while I charge things. You know, because who's really the cautious planner in the group? It's still him, but whatever. Right out of the gate, I want to talk about the Rules Summit results, because those just came out today, less than an hour ago. Well, probably more than an hour ago now. I haven't refreshed that page. But let's talk a little bit about what these rule suggestions were. Right up front, I didn't vote this year on rule suggestions. I had Joe, my co-GM, vote. And I'm sure he'll tell you all about that in his next podcast where he yells at people for stuff, because it's what he does. It's one of the reasons I hired him. It's great. I can just send him off to yell at people. He yells at me. It works out. Sometimes I need to be yelled at. I don't think that's a secret. But yeah, let's start with proposal number 1, which incidentally was a proposal I had that I worked with several players on my team, several additional players, the commissioner. We put together a proposal. The point of the proposal is to generalize TPE that we get from equipment at the beginning of each season. Because right now it's very specific. You can only buy, shoulder pads that add +4 or +8 to 2 specific things. You can only buy other pieces of equipment that do the same. And training with the coach, which isn't equipment, but is listed with equipment, because we've never fixed that wording, even though it's weird. So the idea was this: you would spend a specific amount and you would get a specific amount of TPE. And it almost passed. Got 9 of the required 11 votes, which means it'll probably be reformed, hopefully, and come back again next year or at some point during the season with a proposal where we get 2 extra votes and make it into a rule. But the whole point there is that one of the biggest things that takes place in the off season when people buy equipment is TPE restructuring. Very much a lot of times veterans who are already, like, Dick Wizardry is over 1,000 TPE at this point. And mostly what I'm doing is banking TPE right now, so I would have to buy the equipment and then spend the extra money to bank all of that specific TPE in the categories where that TP is going to go. I worded that very badly, but it gives you an idea of what updaters are dealing with every time they do off-season updates. And it's clear updaters doing off-season updates need all the help they can get to get things accurate. So doing things like this should help. It did not pass, unfortunately. Just a couple of people didn't like the idea. I'm going to go back through and figure out why. But what I'd like to do is just take a whole level out of that, because it gets really fucking complicated. If you look at these updates that are like bought equipment TPE and then restructure TPE out of those specific areas that's exactly the right amount, and then you slide the TPE from the equipment you bought in, and then you're doing something else. You turn like a one-step process into a four-step process. My dog wants to be pet over here. Out of frame. Do you want to be on TV? It's not really TV. Look at that Daisy. Hello, Daisy. Hi. Hello, Daisy. I'm talking about TPE. What do you think? Do you think we reword this? Think we can make it happen? Yeah? Okay. Go sit over there. Just streamlining and simplifying any process is going to be good. This is one of the more complicated processes that happen, so I'd love to see that streamlined. We'll see going forward. Rule 2, which did pass. Year 12 regression was reduced from 75% to 60% as per the suggestion of the regression scale creator. This is time consumer. I put this suggestion in. It was actually his, though. He had mentioned it in the chat at one point, so I went and discussed it with him privately. Because since we switched to the 13-game schedule instead of a 14-game schedule, that means that for your average player now, if you have a 10-career season, that means you played 130 games. And in terms of all-time stats and things like that, you're going up against someone whose 10-career season was 140 games. It gets rough. And the way the regression scale is set up, by season 12, you're almost auto-retired. That's about where it was. And that was the intent when they made it, when he made it. And so his idea was, let's alleviate that slightly for people who are really pushing that hard and that far. Drop that from 75 to 60% so that they have a chance to stick around. And for those of you who don't know, you get auto-retired if you get under 150 TPE, which means with 75% regression, that going into year 12, before, you had to have 600 TPE, which is basically fucking impossible. It's just pretty much fucking impossible. Because if you had 600, you would lose 75% and it would drop you down to 150. So if you were anything under 600, you're auto-retired. Now, going down to 60, it's going to be a little bit better. I'm not going to try to do that fucking math off the top of my head. No, I'm not going to try to do that. I think it's 450 or something like that. It's going to end up being like 450 or something like that, where you got to be at to survive another year. But it passed. It's good. It almost passed unanimously, I think, right? No, it had exactly the right amount of people pass. 4 voters decided that they knew better about the regression scale than the person who wrote it. TC's not here to give you this glare, so I'm just going to lock eyes with you and remind you that if you're one of those 4 voters, you just told the person who wrote the scale that you know better than he does. Nope, don't care about your excuses. That's what you just did. Anyway, let's move on. Number 3, O-line can only be created by users with a former player who was there 250 TP or more. Then there's a whole explanation about the reasoning. There was actually some chat in the general chat today, less than an hour ago, about this. It is discouraging for some people. Facts are what they are. And for those of you who don't know, in terms of anyone in this league in any position of power, GMs, HO, etc., I am far and away easily the biggest O-line supporter. Period. Bar none. Nobody else has a fucking argument. One person might have a fucking argument, and she's too fucking busy to deal with you people, so I'm doing it. Original create O-line has not worked out. It hasn't. People get bored, they hate it, they go away, and all it's really done up to this point is help with the perception that some biased people have. Some of them are the same people who voted against rule number 2, by the way, that O-line's not important. It's not a position we should have. We should do our best to basically make sure it's so shitty people change. It's false choice. Technically you could do it, but I'm going to do all this stupid bullshit to make sure you hate it, and then I get to be right. Well, I supported not allowing original creates to be O-linemen for exactly this reason, because it dilutes everything. And people who don't know the league are taking one of the most difficult positions in the league, creating at it, and then finding out, well, this isn't really very fun for me. I think you need some experience and understanding of the league and how it works and what you're doing before you can take on a position like that. Especially when the odds are going to be purposely stacked against you anyway. We don't give O-line, we don't look into things like experience that would help O-line like we do with, every other fucking position. We don't do... In fact, we nerf O-line in the DSFL to make sure they're not too powerful. That's the level we're operating at with these positions. So, no original recreates. No original creates. I keep wanting to say recreates. What I'd like to do, what I think should happen, is that all this stuff kind of goes to the side and you get people who recreate, who know what they're doing, who know what they want, who are having careers as O-line, and then we get a better barometer of what it's actually like. We can go to those people and go, what did you like? What did you not like? What can we improve on? What can we fight for this position? And we can find out, hey, we could do this and make it better, or we could find out there's no way to make it better, let's actually get rid of it. But we get real answers. Not somebody's, I decided I hated it, so I'm going to fuck with every fucking rule and proposal and everything because I don't like it. We get real answers based on real information. And that's what I want. That's always going to be what I want in terms of my decision making and things I support, is something that goes towards real information that actually tells us stuff. So yes, I was in favor of no brand new players being O-line. You can disagree. That's fine. Number 4, remove the following rule. It was about 4 years in the DSFL. It was a total thing. It was a very specialized and specific rule, not really all that. 5, create a standardized rookie contract. Fuck that. Fuck that. Being able to negotiate individually with players is a big part of the experience, in my opinion. Rookies just as much as anyone else. So I am definitely not on board with that. I think it also, if we keep doing this, it's also going to turn into stuff. It also is a step in the direction of general standardized contracts, I think. And I'm a little worried about that too. But that's as a side point. If this was, I would worry about the side point later if I actually supported the regular decision. If I don't. Someone did work on that a lot. I think it was Run. I don't remember who did that. Swag? Might have been. Number 6, allow teams to begin signing inactives once the regular season ends rather than waiting for the Ultimates to end. Did this pass? This did pass. Good. This should have passed. This should have passed, and I'm glad it did. That's a good thing. Re-signing people is such a crunch because we keep trying to put things off and put things off. And, all this stuff has to be done, and so you end up with like this tiny window to re-sign your inactives, which also jumps right onto signing free agents, and then there's inactive free agents who jump right in there, and then you're doing draft prep, and just is kind of like the technical description of what was happening. So we're starting to space some of these things out a little bit more and place them a little bit more intelligently, I think. And this is a good example of that because it works. It works better if you've got this space. I'm gonna try to do this space wise, and you try to do a whole bunch of shit in this time period. And, oh look, nothing's happening over here. I totally lost the fucking hand motions there, but you get the point. It's more intelligently designed. 7. All contracts longer than 2 years must include a player option or a mutual option. This covers extensions too. This one did not pass. This one did not get a single vote. I know who suggested this, and it made me laugh a lot when he brought it up in chat. For reasons I'm not going to go into, but I wish I had a player option. Either way, requiring it, no. It's just no. If you are a player and you want an option, fucking demand that option. Like, because as a GM, it's gonna go two ways. Number one, I don't want to give you that option, in which case you're not gonna be on my team. And if I'm the GM who doesn't want to give you an option, you don't fucking want to be on my team anyway. Like, win. Or you're gonna get what you want. Win. Just do it yourself. Like, the league should not be mandating that you have one, whether you want one or not. Like, especially since more than half of them are gonna end up being somebody like me. Like, I have to write a new contract that has a player option for my own player while I'm a GM. That doesn't make any sense. It's gonna be veterans who want to stay the team that they've been on forever. It doesn't make any sense. It just adds a whole bunch of extra shit we gotta type in the budget page, and the budget page already has a bunch of shit we gotta type in it. And that's when we can get the information that we have to find, put in for ourselves, and we don't get told, LOL, fuck you, go find it yourself. So, it would complicate shit for no real reason. 8. Eliminate ties in award voting. Tiebreaker would be time consumer's opinion. I like that we have one rule here that is based entirely on time consumer's opinion, and a second rule here based entirely on time consumer's opinion. I would love to know the this one didn't pass, did it? No, this one came nowhere near passing. But I would love to find out if somebody. I would love to go back and find out if someone voted for one but against the other. Like, what's the hang up there? I'm not going to do that. That would require too much effort. Number 9. War rooms are 2 GMs and 4 captains. War rooms consist of a max of 6 people. The background to this rule proposal was that someone felt too many people were getting average TPE for mock drafts. That's really what it came down to. So, what if we only have 6 people in a war room? And then it turned out most teams didn't have over 6 people anyway. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna kick out people into your war room just cause? For something that's a pretty minor point in the year. It really came down to, we're gonna limit the amount of people you have in your war room so that for one event a year, their TPE fluctuates a little more. And you're really somewhere between 4 and 8 points. It's not like a fucking lot. It was too much, and there's a reason it didn't come anywhere near passing. Number 10. All contracts deposited before Week 1 sim aired, or 100k fine per player towards the cap. Yeah, get your fucking contracts in. Like, that's... It is what it is. Obviously, because I know there's going to be people, but what if a player has not officially signed by that point? Obviously, no one's going to fine you for not having a contract in when the contract isn't legal yet. This one got 14 out of 15 votes. I do not know who didn't vote for it. I'm curious about that. Number 11. The rule that I wish had passed. and didn't. All TP earned must be in your update thread before regression, and signing new contracts or extension is applied. The TP will count towards regression and your contract here. Basically, the idea was you need to have all of your TPE accounted for in your update thread before you sign a new contract or before you go into regression. Anything that doesn't appear there is gone. And this is to stop, people from signing a new contract and then dropping a 75 TPE update afterwards, which has happened several times. One person who's not even active anymore would very quickly and angrily like to point out that after he did it, he was still below his minimum threshold. Blah 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 blah. We did have an incident last season where someone lost an entire 140 something update based on 20 TPE or some shit. And officially it was because of this. They added TP after and didn't fit their contract minimum. Unofficially, I mean, we all fucking know who it was got punished the way he did. We all fucking know, okay? We know why it happened. We know why he got such a fucking hammer dropped on him. We know why the people who did it. You're not fucking fooling anybody. Just pointing it out. We fucking know. But officially this was the reason, and this rule was intended to help alleviate any concerns like that. With regression, it also comes into play as well. I approve of this rule. I really hope this comes back and gets passed later. But man, only 8 out of 15 voted in favor of it. Only 8 out of 15 people with the power to vote said, yeah, all of everyone's TPE should be in before important events like contract signings and regression. So, talk to your congressman. Because, if they don't want other teams to have accurate accounting of TPE for their contracts, why do you think that is? Because they want to get around the rule themselves. That's the only thing I can think of. Or they didn't like the wording. I don't know. I thought that one was actually going to pass after discussion of it in the GM chat. So I was very surprised that it didn't. Number 12, last one that was literally just being discussed as well in chat. Players who create after the trade deadline are not eligible to receive TPE from point, task, trivia, or predictions until their first full season in the league. Activity checks and weekly training would still be permitted. So this only got 1 out of 15 votes, most likely from the person who wrote it, which I don't know who that is. We have taken away the ability to buy equipment. We have taken away. There was some other stuff too. You already can't get predictions for that season, I think. Season predictions, not weekly predictions. This rule, when it says predictions, it means like, playing game predictions. So we already took away things and said you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this. As I was saying in chat, really the only thing you can do effectively here is to make a rule that says nobody can recreate between the deadline and the start of the offseason. Because otherwise, what you're doing with a rule like this is say, fuck you to brand new players who happen to show up at the wrong time. And I think the goal here isn't to do that, because that goal would be stupid. The goal here is to cut into people recreating to get a little bit of an advantage. And we've been attacking those people for like 10 seasons. So, I don't know. I would not have voted for this. And clearly most people didn't. It only got 1 vote. But I might vote for the no recreates after trade deadline. as long as it's written well. I probably would lean toward voting for that, since it achieves the actual goal without a whole bunch of extra stupid baggage. And most rule proposals that achieve an actual goal without a whole bunch of extra baggage are probably going to get my support, unless their goal is force GMs to write contracts in a certain way, take away player choice, things like that. So there's that. DSFL also got an Offensive Line of the Year award, which was passed unanimously, and permanently reserved the right for DSFL eligible players unless cut or traded. Oh, so essentially, as long as a player is in the DSFL, you have the first rights to them. No one can just take them to you. Nobody has to re-sign inactives or anything like that. That makes sense. So that's the rule proposals. That is the rule. Hey, Moody. I say you were reading that when I did. Moody99, a.k.a. Mako Mindanka. I am probably saying that wrong. Austin Swingback, pass catcher, runner, handsome gentleman. Winner of our first Viper of the Month award, our internal team awards, created by Tomans. We do offensive and defensive. The Viper of the Month is the offensive player for that week, because a week in real life is a month in playtime, because you get 4 games for the most part. And then he had a great first 4 games. 285 touches. 200. We touch him a lot. 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did awesome. Player 1, 2, and 3. Week 1, 2, and 3. I really fucking am word salad sometimes. I swear. Our defensive player of the month, aka the Constrictor Award. Again, Tomans. Fucking awesome. Just great. He had this idea. He's like, I want to do these awards. And I was like, well, go ahead. You just volunteer. Come up with some shit and run it by me, and we'll see what works. And he did, and presented me with this idea. And I like that. I like that. I like that. Do this. He made little graphics. Actually, his wife made some graphics. It's like, it looks great. It looks awesome. I'm not going to show you what it is. You have to join the Austin Comprehends to see it. But these are awesome looking graphics with team color theming and just fucking phenomenal. Give him some reactions here, which I didn't. I don't know why. Man in trench coat and glasses reaction. I guess it confuses people. Our Constrictor of the Month was Honda Edmond, our rookie linebacker, run by the great Kill, who, once again, I always say it, it's always true, he's the best graphics guy going in the league, and for my money. Very handsome. Very handsome. Very handsome. Just saying. He designed the new Austin end zone art, which I was just told today is not going to make it into this game because the simmer was busy. I'm going to type that now because I forgot to tell my team to let them know ahead of time, and I want them to know before you. Into today's games. Yes, I hunt and peck. Yes, I'm 38. Fuck you. Well, I'm not 38. I'm 38 soon. 2 months. I almost coughed right into the microphone because that's what you want. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. I'm really excited. I'm hearing that the questions are building, by the way. Moody is actually responding to me now. I'm talking about you right now. I love our locker room, by the way, and I know Joe does this when he does his podcast. He talks about the locker room, and I sometimes purposely feed him questions about the locker room because I love talking about our locker room. It's awesome. We built it from the ground up with all kinds of cool people, and yes, I'm including Dermot. Usually this is where people go, and Dermot, because it's a fun joke, but dude hears it fucking constantly, And in reality, Dermot is a great addition to any locker room. He's someone I love chatting with. I've been chatting with him for fucking 2 years now, as of like 3 days ago. Happy anniversary to me. And he's just a great person to have around. He's gonna tell you his fucking opinion straight up the gut, and you're gonna know what he thinks about stuff. And sometimes that's, that could be an issue, but again, this is a team run by Joe and me, who are both exactly fucking like that. We're gonna tell you what we think. That's just how it is. So Dermot's great there. We have a great group that's we have a lot of fun. We talk about all kinds of random shit. We have, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. We have a little something we do called weekly music, and every Wednesday I pick a genre of music, and we started doing this a couple weeks ago. And everyone posts videos from the genre of music, and we all watch the video. A lot of times we're just finding new music we hadn't heard, and it's been a lot of fun. Like a couple weeks ago we did 80s music. Last week we did cover music. This week, I'm going to announce it in all caps because I started doing all caps. This week the musical choice is going to be soft rock. Let's see all the crazy soft rock shit people put in there. It's a great genre. You can go you can span 50 years and do everything from yacht rock to all kinds of the shit. It's the only one I can think of. The Eagles could go in there. You have a lot of options. It's fun to see what people pull out of their own musical repertoire of shit they like and be like, oh, here, this. It's very cool. And it's a lot of fun. In GM chat, let's ignore everybody. Forgot to do, Friday we should have our logo in the sim for those of you who've been waiting, which is everybody else in the league, because the Copperheads locker room has seen what our logo looks like on our field. I showed some pictures. It looks fucking awesome. We love it. I can't wait for the rest of the league to see it, because it's unlike any other logo going in the league. So, and it's designed by Kill Kill Kill. And he fucking killed it. And voted on, for those of you who missed that, he actually made 4 different ideas for us, and we as a team voted down to 1 essentially, which was very cool. So I'm gonna go to questions because I hear questions are building. So I'm gonna pop a post in here real quick that says no more questions. No, just in case anybody posts before. Alright, here we go. Questions. I have no fucking idea what's about to happen here. None. About to start on questions. I'm still in caps. Starting in questions now. Get any last minute ones in, although my team is used to asking me questions all the time. I'm always there to answer questions for my team. And they ask, whether it be strategy or roster construction or what our plan is, or... Oh, you know what? Let me hold off on questions for a second. Talk about the Austin Copperheads plan. Because you hear about it a lot from Joe, but you don't hear it from me as much. And Joe is a bit Joe. I'll let you work out what that means. I am very happy with the way our roster has been constructed. I'm an 80s joke now. It's just, most of you are too young for that. I'm very happy with the way our roster's been constructed. We've done a lot of stuff to put in good people. And like I was talking about a moment ago, I really love the way our locker room is, and that is a big focus for us. We want to have that kind of fun locker room people want to actually chat in, because, Discord is a thing in 2019 where you have it on your computer, you have it on your phone. You can be in transit or in the bathroom or on break at work or at school or at home or whatever, and just check your phone to see what's going on. And that's when you're not even at your computer making a dedicated effort to be involved in. But it's something I check a dozen times a day or more. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. It's very connective. And So having a good group in a locker room who's going to be chatting, who's going to be doing stuff, is paramount to the success of any team, in my opinion. And we did that. We specifically sought that out with various people, and the ones who are there are people who are just having fun, or even the ones who aren't like super duper active. Our kicker, Alfredo Crisco, he's in the locker room. He chimes in once every 2 weeks, but he's there. He does his thing, and he's not causing any problems. That sounds like a weird, like, damned by faint praise. Hey, it's great. He's not causing any problems. No, what I mean is, he, even as a quieter person, he's there. He's contributing. He's enjoying the locker room. His presence is net positive, and that's what we want. Net positives, which includes Dermot. We should get it. We should start. Somebody start a new website. Fuck Dermot gently, instead of just fuck Dermot. Give him a little bit of love that he deserves. A little bit. Please don't actually do that. Don't waste your money. Do it. I mean, do it if you fucking want to, but like, don't be like, Adam told me to do it. I'm just saying shit. Don't actually do that shit. But I feel really good about our roster, where we're headed. We are, of course, undefeated this season, as everybody knows. We cannot be beaten. Hashtag Austin undefeated. And we're obviously going to the Ultimates. Even though nobody predicted it, it's happening, clearly. We're definitely on the rise. Our defense is getting better. Our offense is getting better. What we do on the field is getting better. My understanding of the sim continues to get better, which is great. I came back into GMing. I feel like I had a much better understanding of the offensive side of the ball in terms of what the sim does than I did the defensive side. So I definitely had to step up my game there, and I feel like I'm slowly getting to a point where I'm confident in what I can do defensively in terms of strategizing, in terms of depth charts. I feel like a lot of GMs just kind of like, nickel 35 for everything, and then they don't worry about shit. And that's fine. That's a thing I've done. I'm not like disparaging it. It's apparently through testing via our rules and restrictions, that's basically the best generalized defense you can use. So there's clearly nothing wrong with that. But I'm trying to learn new things and find new things. And if I find something that works that nobody else is using, then fucking huzzah! That's good for the Copperheads. And that's really my ultimate goal, is to do things that are good for the Copperheads. Because, snake boys for life. That seems more like a cat. Like the two snakes in your hand is the picture. I'm thinking of that old picture of Stone Cold Steve Austin with the two that fucking, never mind. 90% of people are like, what the fuck is going on here? But Copperheads, love the Copperheads, love where we're going. We are going to be a threat, and 8 of the other 9 teams seem to realize that, which is awesome. It is what it is. I want to be that team that people hate going up against. I want to be that team that people want to go to. I want to be that team that succeeds and where my guys have fun and I can help them build Hall of Famers all day long and twice on Sundays. Why twice on Sundays? I don't know. There's no other league events. So hopefully we can just keep on the trajectory we're on in the toughest conference in the league historically. I mean, it's not even an argument. It's really not an argument. If your brain went, oh, wait a minute, it's not. No, it's not an argument. It's not. The ASFC. The ASFC. God, that fucking acronym is way too fucking confusing sometimes. The ASFC is very clearly the dominant conference and has been since day one of the league. 2 teams in the ASFC. 2 teams in the ASFC have more titles than the entire NSFC combined. 2. Dos. So, yes. Let's get to those questions. let's get to this question. I'll refresh real quick. Where am I at on my recording here? 39 minutes. Not bad. I'm not going to stare at it. I was like 40 minutes if anyone said that. Alright, here we go. Let me scroll past these sweet-ass signatures made by Kilpilkin. By the way, if you ever get a chance to really look at some of the details in his signatures, you absolutely should. There's still shit we're finding. Like, it took us a long time to even spot all the stuff in the GM signature he made for us for Charlie Law and Carlito Crush. Stuff like, you know, the logo on the table and the fucking the team symbols and the lapels of the suits, and he just puts so much different stuff in there. It's awesome. I love the way he works. Here we go. Questions. Saba Donut Man. We like you, Saba. We do. If you weren't a wide receiver, we probably would have fought to draft you a little harder. But it was fun having you around when we did. We appreciate that you're still doing your thing. How is being an NSFL GM different than being a DSFL GM? You don't lose as many players every year. I was only a DSFL GM for one season, and in which we scored the most points in the league and went 5 and 7 because we had horrible sim luck. Also because one of our most important players' position changed partway through the season, and it wasn't even registered for like most of the rest of the season and some other stuff. But it's different in that contracts aren't standardized. Free agency is a thing. Every draft, you're dealing with people who are more proven. A DSFL GM is going to have to take a few more risks than the NSFL GM. So it's easier to build long term, where at DSFL you can't really think as much long term because your goal is more get a new group of people in, teach them how shit works, send them on their way to succeed. So there's definitely a lot of different mentality there. I think a little bit less in terms of game planning too, because simply because you don't have as many options. You can't really go pass heavy. You can't drop 70 spread offense on 3rd and 10 because your quarterback has 105 TPE and one of your receivers has over 80 speed. You know, like that's a general idea. What is the importance of members of your team in the war room? Alright, well let's talk about my war room, which weirdly has come up today. My war room is obviously myself and Joe. Beaver, who was the first member of our war room, because Beaver's a long-time guy. He's somebody you want in there providing his perspective. You get Dizzy, team's first ever draft pick, and also a DSFL GM. He's provided a lot of fucking ideas as well. And that's what it comes down to. Like you want people you're bouncing ideas off of. TLK, of course, the least surprising member of my war room ever for anyone who's paid any attention. That's the dude. Obviously has a lot of ideas, has a lot of experience. He helped run teams before. Finn, wannabe Finn, is probably the member of our war room that would surprise people, because he's a more low-key, quiet guy, and we brought him in mostly because we thought he'd be a good addition in terms of having an idea what players think and stuff like that. So they're valuable. They're super valuable because it's good to be able to take an idea and just be like, here, what do you think? What am I missing in this idea? So a lot of my dumb ideas that I haven't put as much thought into, I run by them first. Let me just throw it in here and let you guys work it out. And then if I can pull like, I take what they think and I pull something good out of that, I can do that, and that's helped our team many, many times. In fact, I feel like I should use them more for that. But that, and of course, just like every war room, and the GMs will know what I mean, the number one suggestion is, what if you got a draft pick that was a round ahead of the one that they're offering? What is something rookies would be surprised to know about GMing? A lot of things, I think. How much of it is person-to-person relationships? How much of it is not strategizing per game, but for longer terms. Like, yes, I'm doing a fair amount of strategizing per game or per sim, but I'm also at the same time running strategies for longer periods of the season. I'm running strategies for multiple seasons. I'm looking ahead to what happens when I'm recreating in 5 or 6 seasons. Where are we going to be when our quarterback hits his prime? How is this defensive core coming together? What am I missing? There's so many different ways you are strategizing, but it's not always the biggest part. A lot of it is paperwork, essentially. No real paper, obviously, but getting those that's a different league that I also GM in. Getting the NSFL budget done. I've got both of them. They both use the same sheet idea, and I'm looking at both of them right now. Figuring out what's coming up in terms of that. Oh, how expensive is my current roster 3 seasons from now? Things like that. There's a whole lot of that in there. Managing other relationships outside of your own. If you have 2 people in your locker room and you get along great with both of them, but they don't get along with each other, that can have ripple effects. So again, managing relationships, it's huge. Managing relationships with other GMs. It's important to have at least a decent working relationship with the other GMs, because you can't just tell the core of the league, fuck you, I'm never talking to you. It doesn't work. It doesn't. I can work just fine with almost every GM. I managed to work fine with the GM you all thought I just meant when I said almost every GM. Believe it or not, we've had a couple conversations. That and co-GMs too. Because it's not just a GM, it's a GM and a co-GM. You can end up talking to either or, which I do extensively, because the way my team runs, I don't know that it's true for every team, but the way my team runs, Joe has a lot of fucking leeway to do things without even checking with me. And even then, a lot of times I'll be like, we got this, we got this, we got this, I'm going to do this, do whatever the fuck you need to do within these parameters, go get it, don't check with me, go for it. And so I tend to treat other teams that way. So I'll go to the GM, the co-GM, even if the GM's not around. Hey, I got this, what can you do? So maintaining those relationships is good. Don't need to maintain relationships with HO, fuck them. HO is like, well, that explains a lot. That's another aspect of GM. As a GM, you are getting part of the rule proposals, part of the award voting, part of the structure of how the league is run through GMs as well. So you have to take that aspect that isn't specifically managing your team, and you have to think of the league overall. Not everybody's good at that. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic. Not everybody's good at that. People will tend to not have that sort of view, but you, as a GM, you got to think about my player. You got to think about my team. You got to think about the league. And there's not always going to be lined up thoughts there, because what's good for your team or your player might not be what's good for the league. You really got to break that down and think in the different terms when you're making different decisions. And if you're making league-wide decisions, you got to think league. You can't just be like, well, my team can't pass, so let's put a limit on all passing to 50%. Like, that's bullshit. You can't be that person. If you are that person, I'm gonna fucking come at you and call you that person. One of the things that anybody who's been in a GM or HO chat with me can tell you is that I argue hard. If I believe something, I'm gonna fucking argue it. And if I don't care, I'm not gonna say shit. But I'm always gonna try to put the league ahead of my own personal wants, because that's part of the responsibility we have. The whole thing is fun. It's a hobby. It's important people remember that. But if you are in that position, you need to be remembering that you're responsible for the fun of 150 fucking people, not just your fucking self. So you gotta kind of carry that a little bit. And remember, that's what's going on. Thus going back to rules like the no original creates for O-linemen, because it's essentially negatively affecting the way the whole position is run, how it's viewed, and so the people for whom it would be fun, who do know what they're getting into, are being negatively affected by people who don't. So that's why, even though it seems counterintuitive to not let people choose O-line right out of the gate, it's got a longer-term effect that benefits the whole league. And that's the kind of thought I try to put into stuff, and I think that's one of the things rookies might be surprised about from GMing, like how I brought that back to the actual question at the end. Here we go. By the way, thank you, Saba, of course. Dylan Deluxe. Dylan. Thud Castle. Oh, yes, I remember you. Why do I remember you? I don't remember. I remember you. From a conversation you had in rookie chat. Oh, yeah, I remember who you are. Okay. When scouting for the draft, that's funny, because I've got you scouted already based on that conversation. What separates max TPE earning prospects for you when establishing a draft board? Well, for example, just a random example. I talk to rookies. It's not a secret anymore. Austin has a specific role and room where just the rookies and the roster can chat with each other so we can kind of get a feel of who everybody is. I pay attention to the rookie chat. I'll drop into DSFL games occasionally and see what's going on and how people treat each other. I like to ask my rookies about who their favorite other rookies are, things like that. But some of the things that separate is how you treat each other. And if I see someone is shitting all over another rookie for fucking no reason, then you're going to go below somebody else on the draft board. Not even just if you have the same TPE. If you have lower TPE than they do, you're going to go below somebody. But a lot of it is because a lot of it is personality. It goes back to that building the locker room that I was talking about. I want to be the biggest asshole in my own locker room. I'm not much of an asshole for the most part. But if I'm the worst person in my own locker room, then my locker room is pretty fucking great. And that's kind of one of those huge things that separates. That and position, obviously, can sometimes separate. Like, you can be a phenomenal wide receiver prospect, like Saba was, but we didn't need wide receivers. The league thought we needed wide receivers because they weren't paying close attention, but we didn't need wide receivers. Other things are personal relationships. Notice that theme keeps coming up in all these questions, weirdly enough. But it's true. Like, I'll go to my team and say, what do you guys think about these prospects? I like them, I don't like them. This person is this way, this person acts that way. Here's how they fit in our dynamic. It's huge. That goes for all draft prospects, too. It's not necessarily just evenly TPE'd. It's evenly TPE'd. TPE is now a verb. Thank you for the question. Valor. We were on his no-trade list, by the way. How did the Copperheads LR react to ending their 14-game losing streak? We were extremely happy both times. And, but at the same time, it's a battle. We're here to win the war. And that's something that we've been on board with from the beginning. It's something we remind each other. You know, let's be excited about this victory, but it's a small victory towards what we're going for. So that's how we were very jubilant, but because it's a step in a journey. Do you think the Copperheads could make the playoffs in season 18? Yes. Yes, I do. I'll bet you $5 million that we do, in fact. Hit me up. What current playoff team has the biggest chance to enter a rebuild? San Jose. Like, it's not even a question. They're half their players are in regression, including their quarterback. They are currently outperforming their defensive TPE significantly. Yeah, they're the team that's going to hit a hard rebuild very quickly. So, certain other teams are already in the midst of one, really. NOLA's in the midst of a rebuild. The Yeti have been rebuilding from season 1. You can't really call Chicago a rebuild. Philly is probably on the verge of one, but they're not as close as San Jose is. There you go. Thank you for the questions. Isa, Starcrossed. Yes. What's up, Isa? Are there any specific things that you would like to change about the league as a whole? That's a different fucking podcast. Communication is the first and foremost one. This bad level of communication at times. The head media person should not find out about major changes to the media in an announcement post to the whole league. That kind of mentality, that let me hold all the information close to my vest mentality is not good for the league, in my opinion. And you didn't see that shit when I was in HO with Dermot. What's up, my boy? What is the most exciting part of the season for you as a player? Or there is way more of an answer to that. I know I just jumped to the next question. There's so much more of an answer to that, but it's just I don't have time. What is the most exciting part of the season for you as a player or GM? Is it different for the Zoo? Well, it is very different. As a GM, I'm excited every time like one of my people signs to an extension, or I get that new rookie that looked good and they're bouncing in and they're jumping into the locker room and they're doing good, or any of that. Anytime it feels like the plan is moving forward, that's a great time as a GM. As a player, I don't know. I'm in a brand new position. I'm not really as excited as a player because I'm GMing anymore. And that's the thing I think most GMs have. But if you could increase or decrease the amount of available TPE you earn in a season, what would you do and why? I don't know. That's a tough one. I probably do nothing at the moment. I would want to put a lot of research into whichever direction I went. Because it has significant consequences, and not all TPE is created equal. You know, a 600 TPE running back or defensive tackle is not the same as a 600 TPE quarterback or cornerback. You know, so all of that is very mixed up. As unbiased as possible, who do you as a GM see as the strongest roster in the league and the biggest threat in your path to an Ultimus? My Ultimus plans aren't this year. They're very outside next year, so it's really 2 seasons beyond for my plans. I think next year we very much will make the playoffs and we might contend and get close, but I don't know that we're an Ultimus team next year. So the year after that is when I really need to worry about who's in my path to being Ultimus. And New Orleans and Orange County are probably the answers, because they're in my conference, obviously, so they're much more in my path, and they're in the conference that wins NSFL titles. So, you know, obviously, basically the entire NSFC can be, I did it for them too, NSFC can be sort of dismissed. You can't ever fully dismiss it, but you can because you can't even get, they have nothing to do to stop me from getting to an Ultimus. You get in the game, shit happens, but the other conference is simply less important. And if I were in the other conference, I should be saying that my current conference is less important too. You could relocate your team. Oh, right, that's right. You're new. You keep forgetting. This is literally our 2nd season. We're an expansion team. I forget. We had chatted about this recently. I think where you thought we were in a rebuild. Relocate your team and give it a new name. Where would you relocate to, and what would it be? Vegas. My original idea was Vegas. I live in Vegas, for people who don't know. So that's what I would do. Vegas flight, probably. With this cool logo that kind of takes into consideration we have one of the largest Air Force bases in the world right here in Vegas. It's not called Top Gun anymore, but one of the 3 Top Gun sites in the U.S. Other than that, I really like Austin. I like the Copperheads. It's a place I might consider moving in real life. We'll see. But I like where we're at. I'm still new. But if you look at the class like season 18, that ultimately has close to 120 prospects sign up, even I can see the retention rate past the TSFL season will only be 30 to 40 players if we're being optimistic. I don't know that that's true. What do you think can be done to help retain new players in the league? I worked on that harder than almost the entire league has. Revamping the entire rookie section with Nunk. Working on all sorts of things with retention. It's something that, I say me, but it's something that a lot of people have worked on for a very long time. I don't think it's going to be 30 to 40. I think it's going to be closer to 50 to 60. And that's a little bit less than average. The huge class has a little bit less retention than average. The smaller classes will have a higher percentage. But that's also just natural across many sim leagues. Is you're only gonna, if you keep 60% of the people who sign up to your league, fucking party time. Oh, but we're gonna keep at it. I can't say anything specific should be done right this second, but we're always open to ideas. So if you have any, fucking go for it. Do you think there could ever exist something crazy like too much media? Like within our league? No. No, keep it fucking going. Yeah. That's more money for you, it's more participation, it's more ways that I know you're into shit, it's more people getting to hear their own name being talked about. It's a whole fucking world of cool shit that way. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm only going to answer some of these questions. I legitimately have to leave for work in like 10 minutes. This shit went way longer than I thought it was going to. Okay, let me find out when I need to leave for work. Dermot. Do you plan on making any more trades? No comments. Do you plan on overtaking Joe and pushing into his territory for the majority slice of the NSFL podcast pie? Fuck no. Why am I not in the war room? Technically, you were this season. Visit this. No. Same thing here with the NSFL's history section. No. Oh, it's the wiki. Everyone should go click on those and visit the wiki. I did a little help with the wiki once. If you could bring back any user that went inactive on the NSFL, who would it be? That's actually a fucking good question. I don't know. I can't remember if I asked you this, but I've asked Joe on like 6 different podcast episodes. But if you could add any rules to the NSFL, what would it be? What would you remove, change, alter, add? That's the same as the question from before, and I don't fucking know the answer to that. Oh, Jesus, I don't know the answer to that. 09? I gotta leave in 7-ish minutes. Thing you hate most about the NSFL, HO? Thoughts on moving away from J-Kink? Fucking please. Yes, please. Jesus, dear God, yes. Fucking please. Please. Fucking please. We are the least fucking technologically sound sim league I know of, and I'm the fucking technological idiot. So if I can spot it, it's got to be 3 times as fucking bad as I think it is. Yes, yes, yes. What's the biggest thing holding the NSFL back? You fucking knew it was going to be the same answer when you asked that question. Thank you, Dermot. You know I love you. Lamp Wizard. That's awesome. I've never even seen your name before. That's fucking awesome. That's how you've been here a month and I haven't spotted your name. That's how fucking busy I've been. What are the expectations for considering an O-line prospect in the NSFL? What should be the expectations? Are they similar, different? Yes. Part of going back to why I want recreates is because you have them as established people. So you know kind of what you're getting in terms of locker room presence, how hard they're going to work at it, what's going to happen if they run into adversity. I think for the moment those should be the standards as well. What is more important in an NSFL DSFL player? Hard TPE? No. Or soft TPE? Soft TPE. We all use soft TPE, or we all use hard TPE. Like I assume you mean like activity checks and weekly training and shit like that. Soft TPE is active. Yeah, soft TPE. But you probably already knew that was going to be the answer like 20 minutes ago. Good question though. Good question. You had no idea I was going to fucking rant about your exact fucking question before you asked it. So awesome work. Moody! Ah! Inside joke. What sort of prep goes into putting together the team for each game? Can't answer that here. We'll answer that in private. As Austin are a new team, they don't have any firm rivals yet. Yes, we do. What do you think are becoming Austin's true rival team? I'll tell you in private. I don't want to say their name. Have you and Joe kissed and made up after trading without telling his best friend? Yes, like almost immediately. Joe yelling at me for doing stupid shit is a working part of the relationship. A regular working part of the relationship. Alright. No more questions. Because I have to leave soon. No mas. All done. Joe yelling at me is important. And he was absolutely right to shit on me for... I jumped. I got excited. I jumped. I didn't double check. It happened. And it's one of the things I brought him on with this explicit keep me from doing this. Because I will occasionally get lost in my own cleverness. And I'll miss wide, small swaths of important information. And that's what happened. I have been asked a few times by people in private, like, hey, Joe said this, or hey, Joe said that in public, or is that okay, or what do you think about that? And I kind of have to tell people, like, yeah, I don't like putting muzzles on him. Like, go fucking say what you think. It's why I fucking hired him. If he says shit, if he's openly like, well, I disagree with that, Amir, fucking awesome. That's great. This isn't a fucking dictatorship. If people know that it's not just going to be my opinion repeated in his voice, then you know shit's being discussed. You know ideas are being gone over. You know that there might be disagreement, but they're still ultimately working together. So yeah, I fucking love that Joe has his own opinions and he's not afraid to express them. I've asked him to not talk about like one topic ever, and that was personal to me. So that's it. Yeah. Joe's a fucking great co-GM. For just those reasons. Thank you guys for all the questions. Copperhead questions I will answer in private on the Discord. And the after party is gonna... No, I'm kidding. The after party is I'm gonna go pee and go to work. So I'm gonna stop this recording now and not even upload it until later tonight. So, toodles!